Alright, how's it going, guys? Austin Laramie here from Zero to Hero Dog Training, and we have Nyla. We've been boarding her now for a little over 3 weeks, and up to this point she knows all of her basic commands very well in multiple environments around multiple different distractions. So I'm happy to say that this is our first time doing her e-collar conditioning. So we're gonna get her off leash, listening perfectly in all environments. So a couple things before I begin. One, the e-collar, the almighty, scary, big, scary e-collar. It's literally the best tool ever invented for dog training. And all the purely positive treat trainers out there who think otherwise, you're just missing out on a huge opportunity for the freest and happiest dog you could ever have. So, a lot of people think the e-collar is just a punishment tool, that we just blast dogs with it, right? That it's just shocking dogs. It's not the case. Not the case at all. Now, in the end phase of e-collar training, yes, we're going a lot higher, right? But the goal isn't to instill fear in the dog. It's just to add corrections and fine-tune all the obedience. But in the beginning, when we're teaching it, we are using the lowest level that she feels, to where it's not pleasant or displeasant. It's just there. It's very, very foreign to dogs. This feeling, extremely foreign to dogs. And you need to teach them what it means. You can't just put an e-collar on a dog and just press the button and expect things to work like a TV remote. It does not work like that, and you're gonna make your dog worse. So you must seek a professional before you want to do e-collar work with your dog. If you are thinking of terms of, my dog won't stop barking, I'm gonna go buy an e-collar. My dog pulls on a leash, I'm gonna buy an e-collar. You do not need an e-collar. So, I teach dogs what the e-collar means before I ever start really using it for real obedience, right? So I'm gonna take 2 weeks and I'm going to condition her to this feeling using 2 commands, the come command and the place command, which is also go away from me command. I want to teach opposite behaviors, right? I'm teaching the dog that it means to go away from me, and that it means to come to me, and eventually that it means to sit, to down, to leave it, all sorts of things, right? And because of this, she's going to be the happiest and freest dog that she could ever be, and her owner is going to be extremely happy, right? Dogs with e-collars, properly trained, become the happiest dogs I've ever seen in my life and that anybody's ever seen. So, she's never had it on to this point. This is her first time. I'm doing this in real time. You want to teach the dog what this feeling means. Very, very foreign. This leash, she knows that's me, right? I'm doing this, she knows that's me, but she's gonna feel this weird little tickle. It's not going to hurt at all, but she's gonna feel it and be like, that's weird. It's gonna confuse her. But she knows her commands very, very well. I don't teach anything with the e-collar. I use the obedience to teach the meaning of the e-collar. So she knows all her commands very well. So I'm gonna condition her what this means over the course of 2 weeks, using a lot of positive reinforcement, treats, food, praise, play, a whole bunch of stuff, right? I taught everything she knows through positive reinforcement, through food, and corrections with the leash. So, first, before you start using the e-collar, one, again, you want to use the lowest level that she feels. So low that it's barely perceivable, that she doesn't even know she's feeling anything. When you're doing that, it's going to be very subtle. Some dogs react differently than others. Some dogs, it'll be more intense than others, and they're gonna look, but what you're looking for is maybe she's panting and her mouth shuts, right? Or maybe her ear twitches, or she looks down, or she looks over, or she jumps a little bit, right? You're looking for subtle signs that tells me that she feels it. So, this thing goes from 0 to 100. Dogs that I condition generally feel it around a 6. I can't feel it on my skin till a 25. My dog started on a 6, but some dogs start on a 2. I mean, it's extremely low though. I mean, I can't feel it till 25, so you gotta remember that. It's extremely low. So, I start on 1, and I go up from there. I don't say anything to the dog when I'm doing it. So once it's properly fitted, it needs to be snug. Once you got it on, you turn it on. I'm just gonna stand here, I'm gonna start pressing it. I have it on continuous, so if I hold it down, it's a continuous stimulation, but I'm just gonna tap it a couple times. I'm gonna go tap, tap, and see if I see a change in behavior. So I'm going tap, 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 nothing. So I'm going to a 2. Off, drop. Good girl. So I'm on a 2 now. Tap. I'm not gonna say tap because it's gonna throw her off and she's gonna look at me. But just know I'm tapping it right now. No change. So I'm going to go to a 3. Actually, I'll raise my hand when I'm tapping it. And that is not her feeling it. She did that before I tapped it. Just itchy on her neck. No change in behavior. So now I'm going to a 4. No change. Going to a 5. No change. Going to a 6. There. You see that? She was sniffing. She looked up. She felt it. Yeah. Press it again. She felt that. So, again, she's on a 6. So, that's when she feels it. That's the first level that she can feel out of 100, is a 6. So now that we found her level that she feels, you want to put your dog on a long line. What a long line is a long, long leash. 20-foot, 30-foot leash. So, what you're going to do is we're going to get yourself a long leash. And I'm going to use the recall to teach the e-collar right now. So what I'm doing is this is on continuous. I want you to see that I got it on a 6. You can zoom in on that. Here, I'll show if you can see, I'm gonna turn it back down to a 6. So it's on a 6 out of 100. It's on continuous. So every time I tap it, she feels a stimulation. But when I hold it down, it's continuous. So it's boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna try my best to hold it up when I'm using it so you guys can see when it's on. So, what you're going to do is, very, very simple. To recap, when you tell your dog to come, the very second they take one step of commitment towards you, that's the second I'm marking and rewarding. So it'll look like this. Now to come, yes. The very second she take a step towards me, I'm marking and rewarding it. You don't have to wait for her to get to you. So again, Nyla, come. Yes. Right? So now she knows come very well. So now we're gonna overlay the e-collar. So what I'm doing here, a couple ways I condition dogs. Way number 1 is I'm using the recall. I'm going to hold down the e-collar about a second before I say come. So I'm gonna hold it and say come. The second that she comes towards me, I'm going to say yes and release at the same time. It's very, very quick. If she doesn't start coming within a second, I'm gonna use the leash to help, and I'm gonna, give her a couple tugs. Hey, 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 kind of like that. You don't want to have it on for more than like a second or 2 in the very beginning. She's a very confident dog, but still, I've had dogs that, react a little different. They're a little more skittish, and, having it on, even on a low level, it's very, very confusing and stressful for some dogs, right? So the goal here is to literally just a couple seconds, or a second. So, when my hand is up, it's on. When my hand is down, it's off. Come. Yes! Good girl! Good, Nyla. Good girl. You want to get some distance from your dog. So, I can throw some food on the ground there. Come. Yes! Good girl! So again, I'm holding it down right before I say come. The second she comes, I mark and I let go. Come. Yes! Good girl! Good! She was taking a little long right there. I was about to pick up the leash and hey, hey, hey. You want to use the leash to help. You don't want to have no leash on your dog at this point. So knowing that she was distracted, now I'm going to have the leash. Come. Yes! Good girl! Good, Nyla. Good girl. I'll just wait for her to get distracted, get some distance from her. if she stays engaged with me, again, I'll take some food and I'll throw it on the ground. So right now she's pretty engaged, so I'm gonna take this food, I'll throw it. Come. Yes, good girl. Yeah, Nyla. I got some food, I'm gonna throw it. Come. Yes, good girl. Very happy, right? She's not freaking out, she's not screaming. All the treat trainers, positive trainers out there that are like e-collars are evil. This looks very evil. Mateo, relax. Come. Yes, good girl, good girl. It's okay after you mark to praise the whole time that she's coming towards you. If you want to make it even better, you can run backwards a little bit as well. So again, she's engaged with me, so I'm gonna throw some food. It's important to note that once the e-collar is on, it must stay on until the dog starts to come. So if she's distracted, I'm using the leash to get her, but it's staying on until she comes. Good girl. Let me get some food and throw it. Come. Yes, good girl. Good. Good girl, Nyla. Get her distracted, get some food. Come. Yes, good girl. Good girl, Nyla, good girl. Ready? Go. Alright, so she's engaged, she's got some food. Go get it. Good girl. Very engaged, I'll reward that. Right, yes. Come. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Yeah, Nyla, good. So, that's one of the ways that I condition the e-collar, using the recall. I hold it down a second before I say come, and the second she takes one step of commitment or even looks my way, I release and I mark and reward when she gets it. You want to do these sessions maybe 3 to 5 minutes, a couple of times a day, nothing too long. Mateo, relax. Again, only use the lowest level in which your dog feels. Don't go higher here. And don't use this for anything else but come and place for the first 2, even 3 weeks. Right? You want to make sure your dog understands it. What happens is people, again, think of the e-collar as a punishment tool. Their dog won't stop barking, whatever. They go get an e-collar and they put it on their dog and start pressing the button, and it destroys their dog, and it makes it way worse, and it makes the problems way worse. For aggressive dogs, you put an e-collar on a dog, when they blow up, you press it, and then it makes them even more aggressive. They blow up and it activates them, right? You can't use an e-collar that way. So again, don't go get an e-collar unless you go find a professional dog trainer that can help you train your dog with it. And again, your dog needs to know all their basic commands before you put the e-collar on your dog. And you need to use rewards with your dog when you're conditioning the e-collar. So that's way number 1 that I do using the recall. Way number 2 is a little different. So I'm gonna wrap up the leash here. And I'm just gonna start walking at a very fast pace. And then I'm immediately, as soon as we're going pretty fast, I'm immediately going to take a step back, start walking backwards. And at the same time, I'm going to tap the e-collar, hold the e-collar and say come. Same as before, but now we're just moving linear. And then I break away from her sight when she's not paying attention to me. So it'll look something like this. All right. on, Nyla. Come on, girl. It's kind of hard because she wants to already walk next to me anyways. My phone fell. Come on, girl. Good girl. Come on. Come. Yes, good girl. I'm not gonna be able to really raise my hand, but just know right before I say come, I'm pressing and holding it. Come. Yes, good girl. Come. Yes, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Yeah. Come. Yes, good girl, Nyla. Good. Good girl. Good. That's a good girl. Good girl. Come. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. My wife's back here running laps. Come. Yes. Good girl. Now, that's way number 2 that I like to condition the e-collar, using the recall. Way number 3, teach the dog to follow you on a leash, is I will walk and I'll just be walking and then I'm going to tap and turn without saying anything. So I'm going to do this. There's no rewards here. There's praise though. I'm going to go tap, tap, tap. I stop tapping as soon as she starts coming my direction. Tap, tap, tap. Good girl. Tap, tap, tap. Good girl. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Good girl. Good. Good. That's just a tap and turn. That's just teaching her to follow you on a leash. Tap, tap, tap. You want to stop tapping the second she starts coming your direction and turning with you. You can either look back at your dog, I don't really like that, tap, 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 or just wait till you don't feel the pressure on the leash. Good. There's no rewards for the tap, but I'm rewarding the automatic halt or the auto sit. So, that was about a good session that I would do when I'm beginning, especially with younger dogs. Like, that's pretty much it. Do that a few times a day, 5 minutes. To recap though, you're going to put the e-collar on your dog. You're going to search for the lowest level. You're going to start at 1 out of 100. And you're just going to tap, 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 and wait for a behavior change. You must use the lowest level. If you get to about 7 or 8 and there's no change at 10 the most, you need to check your e-collar and make sure that it's on tight enough. The number one problem that people have that I see is the e-collar is way too loose. It needs to be very snug because the prongs need to be hitting their skin for them to feel it. They're not going to choke. They'll be all right. Your dogs can't lie. They will tell you if they're in distress or uncomfortable or in pain, okay? Off. So, you're going to put the e-collar on your dog and you're going to find the lowest level that they feel. It's usually around a 6, maybe a little lower, off, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher. Some dogs are different. So don't just say, oh, Austin said 6, I have to go straight to a 6. I had a dog that did it on 2. So just take your time with it. Don't rush it. Don't freak your dog out. Literally don't rush this, and you must go find a professional to do this. Too many people just blast their dogs, and yeah, it's not fun. But yeah, after you find the level, which you're looking for a sign of behavior change, ear twitch. I
want to add in here that when you're looking for your dog's level, if you're tapping it and they're yelping and jumping and yelping, you're way too high. They're not going to yelp if you find the right level. They may jump a little bit though, but if they're yelping, go down low. That's too high.
Once you find their level, you're going to use the recall. You're only going to use the recall for the first week. And you're going to just get your dog distracted, off, sit. You're going to get your dog distracted either by throwing food or just waiting for them to get distracted. You're going to put a 20 or 30 foot leash on your dog and you're going to get some distance from them. You're going to put your e-collar on continuous. I'm using a mini educator, by the way. You're going to put it on continuous. You're going to press and hold it down 1 second before you say come. So I'm going to press and hold it 1 second on continuous right before I say come. The second your dog comes, even looks at you, you're going to let go, you're going to mark, and you're going to praise and reward them when they get to you. Now, if you say come and your dog lags, then I'm using the leash a little bit to help. So you must have a leash on. Because again, they don't know what this feeling is, but they know what come is. But the reason the e-collar is so good is because it creates reliability and speed. Sometimes you say come to a dog and they're not just going to come, right? They're distracted or whatever. That's what this is for. It's a very, very fast and efficient tool if you're a good trainer. So if your dog is lagging if I say come and she doesn't come within a second or two, I'm tap, tap, tap. I'm not popping the leash and correcting her, but I'm just tap, tap, tap till she comes. Again, you cannot release the e-collar until your dog comes. But you want to make sure your dog comes relatively fast, so you use the leash to help. Secondly, I'm going to walk in a straight line very fast, or even run. As soon as she is distracted or a little bit ahead of me and I can get away from her and she doesn't notice, she's very good about being engaged. Good. As soon as I can break away from her, I'm immediately walking backwards, and at the same time I'm holding this down and I'm saying come. As soon as she comes, say yes, and I let go at the same time. If you really want to, you can do that part without saying come. So I'll walk in a straight line very fast, and then as soon as she gets ahead of me or doesn't really pay attention to me, I'm immediately walking backwards, and I'm just hold it down. And as soon as she starts coming towards me, I let go, and I mark and reward. So it'll look like this. Oftentimes I'll do this as well. So I won't say come. So I'll walk very fast, very fast, very fast. I hold it down. Yes! So again, walk very, very fast, very, very fast. And then I immediately walk backwards and I hold it down at the same time. The second she comes my way, I mark and reward. So you don't have to say come with that one if you don't want to. I like to in the very beginning, and then after like the second or third day, I stop saying come. Third, you're going to do tap and turn. So you're just going to be walking, and then you're going to randomly turn to the right, and you're just going to go tap, tap, tap. You're just going to tap until your dog turns with you and the pressure is off the leash. I don't like to look back for my dog, but if you need to, you can. But usually you'll know they're coming because the pressure will be off the leash. As soon as they follow you, again, tap, tap. As soon as they turn and they're following you, you must stop tapping, and you can praise them immediately. You can reward if you want. I don't like the reward for this one. But if I stop and she does her auto sit, because I trained that, then I'll still reward her auto sit. But again, this is just to teach your dog to pay attention to you on a leash and to follow you everywhere. And this sets her up and primes her for the off-leash healing, which we're also going to teach her if you want to have your dog in public and in crowded spaces, really tight next to you. But the everyday average dog owner, they just need a solid recall for a dog that's off-leash, a perfect recall. A dog that's off-leash has to have a recall that is perfect 10 times out of 10, not 9 out of 10 times. If I say come one time, my dog comes perfectly every single time. That's the kind of obedience you need for off-leash obedience. And again, the e-collar is the only way to have that 100% reliability off leash. Again, it's not just a punishment tool. It's a foreign language. It's a communication system to your dog. And a dog that's trained properly with the e-collar will be super excited when you pull the e-collar out. When I pull the e-collar out with my dog, Mateo over there, you can look at him. He's being a good boy. When I pull his e-collar out, he goes crazy. Because he's like, oh, we're going outside, right? It means something fun. And after she's done with the conditioning, we're going to pull her e-collar out, and she's not going to run and be scared. She's going to love it, and she's going to have a great time every time we put it on, because now she will become free. She will be able to do whatever she wants, because I know I can trust her in any scenario. She could be playing with dogs 100 feet away, and as soon as I say come, she's going to come perfectly. So that's what the e-collar does. It's a very powerful tool, and don't listen to anybody that says anything negative about it. If they say something negative, it doesn't mean that their negative experience oversees the thousands of positive experiences that I see multiple people doing with their dogs, including me and what we do at 0 to Hero Dog Training. We give our dogs freedom with the e-collar. It's the best tool, and it's the most humane tool to ever be invented. It's very humane. You want to know why it's humane? Because a dog, because you eventually you can use it as a correction tool too. You actually have to, but it's the most efficient way to correct a dog once they're trained to it. But it's humane because corrections in dog training give clarity to dogs. For example, if she's running after a squirrel and that squirrel is going out into the road and there's cars going down that road, if I say come and she doesn't come, then she's going to get hit by that car, and then she's going to come limping back if she's not dead, right? Or if she's running towards a squirrel going towards a busy road and I say come, she doesn't come, and I step on her leash and she clotheslines herself, that's a lot less lethal and it gets the same job done. Now that she understands come, when she's e-collar trained off leash, when she makes a mistake and decides to run after a squirrel and I don't have a leash on her and I say come, and the one time she doesn't and I can say no and I press the button and she goes, oh, I understand. It's very humane, and it teaches the dog not to do very dumb decisions like that, because everything I train goes back to safety. If I say sit, I need you to sit there, because if I need to cross the street and talk to a neighbor, I don't need you running after me to get hit by a car. If I say come, there's something over there that might be dangerous that I don't want you to get. If I say leave it, I don't want you to touch that poison on the ground, that mushroom, this rattlesnake, right? It's the most humane tool. It's the most humane thing to correct your dogs fairly, by the way, because corrections create clarity. You see any treat-trained dog that's never seen a correction, they can never have their dogs off leash, they can never have their dogs around other dogs, and their dogs just don't listen, right? And that's dangerous. It's not about being an alpha, being a boss. It's about having a dog and keeping them safe while also giving them freedom and happiness to be a dog, right? Dogs do not deserve to live on a 6-foot leash their whole life. They need to run free and explore, but also they need to understand the expectation. When you tell them commands, they must listen first time. So that's e-collar conditioning using the recall. That is part 1. I use the same methods, but with the place command after about a week of just using it with the come command. I take it very slow. There's no need to rush when teaching the e-collar. I mean, there's no need to rush at all. What are you rushing for? Especially if they're a young dog like Nyla. No need to rush, right? You want to make sure that it's very enjoyable, very rewarding when you're teaching this. And as you see, all the dogs that I train, they're very happy with their e-collars, right? Extremely happy dogs, despite the purely positive community always saying, oh, you're going to ruin your relationship and the dogs will be fearful. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you want, please like, comment, subscribe, comment down below any videos you want me to make. I'll be glad to make them. I'm going to start adding my email if you want to hit me up with questions, or you can add them in the comments. I'll be happy to help you guys out any way I can. Thanks for watching 0 to Hero Dog Training. Peace.